Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLES. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Philadelphia, EAGLES. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, especially to what's happening with the Philadelphia Eagles, you know that the team has been making some bold moves over the past couple of seasons. And I'm telling you, it's all about building depth, creating a roster that's not just competitive but resilient, especially at the quarterback position. The Eagles have really put a lot of effort into strengthening their quarterback room, and that's no accident. They've been investing in young talent, drafting smart, and developing players who could step up when needed. And believe me, with the NFL being such a brutal league, having that kind of depth can make all the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit. Over the last 2 seasons, the Eagles have assembled a quarterback group that's versatile, talented, and capable of handling the pressure when called upon. Remember last year, when Jalen Hurts went down with an injury? That was a real test for the team. And while they managed to keep things afloat, it was clear that having a dependable backup is not just a luxury, but a necessity in today's NFL. Now the Eagles didn't just stop there, they went all in on building a pipeline of talent behind Hurts, drafting quarterbacks in the later rounds, signing veterans, and even making trades to acquire promising young players. It's a strategy that's rooted in both competition and preparedness, because in the NFL, injuries happen, and you have to be ready to adapt on the fly. But here's where things start to get really interesting. As we approach the 2025 season, the Eagles find themselves in a somewhat unusual situation. They have what you might call too much talent at quarterback. Think about that for a second. It sounds crazy, right? But in reality, it's a good problem to have. The team has multiple players who have demonstrated the ability to start in this league, and that raises the question, what do you do when everyone is vying for that backup role? When you have a roster overflowing with capable quarterbacks, decisions have to be made, and those decisions can shape the future of the franchise. Now, one of the names that's been making headlines in NFL circles is Dorian Thompson-Robinson, or DTR, as he's affectionately called. He's a player who made some noise over the past 2 seasons with the Cleveland Browns, starting 5 games and showing flashes of potential. The Eagles acquired him in a trade that sent Kenny Pickett, last year's backup for the Steelers, to Cleveland, in exchange for DTR and a 5th-round pick in 2025. This move was seen as a strategic step by the Eagles, adding a player with starting experience and a fresh perspective to their quarterback room. But according to some NFL analysts, like Jeffrey A. Knox from Eagles Wire, the prediction is that DTR might not stick around in Philadelphia for long. Knox suggests that the Eagles may look to part ways with him before the season gets underway, especially if they're banking on the younger prospects they've been developing. And those prospects include 2 names that have been gaining traction recently, Tanner McKee and Kyle McCord. Tanner McKee, a 6th-round pick in 2023, is seen as the more experienced of the two, having seen some action late last season when Jalen Hurts was sidelined due to a concussion. He got a taste of NFL action and showed that he can handle the moment, even if it was just a brief stint. Kyle McCord, on the other hand, was drafted in 2025 in the 6th round, and he's a guy who's been generating buzz because of the investment the Eagles made in him. When McCord stepped onto the field during minicamp, he didn't just participate, he made the most of his reps, showing confidence and readiness. That kind of performance often catches the eyes of coaching staff and front offices, especially when you consider the draft capital invested. You see, the Eagles don't just pick players out of nowhere, they're strategic, and they want to see those players develop into reliable backups or even potential starters down the line. Now, let's dig a little deeper into the current situation with these quarterbacks. We all know that in the NFL, nothing lasts forever. Jalen Hurts is entrenched as the starter, but behind him, the competition is fierce. McKee, who performed well in his 1 start last season, against the New York Giants in the season finale has shown promise. But that game, remember, had zero playoff implications, and most of the starters were resting. So, while he flashed potential, there's still a question mark about whether he's ready to be a full-time backup or even a starter if needed. Meanwhile, Kyle McCord, who has yet to officially win the backup role, has the advantage of being a higher draft pick and showing that he can handle the mental and physical demands of the NFL. The Eagles invested draft capital in him, which is always a sign that they see potential in his development. Let's not forget the importance of this quarterback depth. Last season, when Hurts was injured, it was a scramble to find reliable options. McKee stepped in and played well in his limited opportunities, but that's not enough to just have a guy who can fill in. It's about having a guy who can step in and perform at a high level for multiple games if necessary. The question then becomes, who do they trust to lead the offense if Hurts isn't available? The answer could very well hinge on how these young quarterbacks continue to develop, especially Kyle McCord, who has shown flashes of being a potential future starter. And it's not just about who's currently on the roster. The Eagles have a history of drafting smartly and developing talent, and that's exactly what they're doing now. They're creating a pipeline, a succession plan, if you will, for the quarterback position. This is crucial because, as many NFL insiders have pointed out, the lifespan of a starter is often limited, and having a reliable backup who can step in seamlessly is invaluable. Think about the great teams in NFL history. Most of them had dependable backups who could win games if the starter went down. The Eagles are building that kind of depth now, and it's a testament to their organizational philosophy. So with all these pieces coming together, what should fans expect for the upcoming season? Well, it's clear that the Eagles are preparing for anything. They want a resilient team that can handle injuries, unexpected setbacks, and the grind of a long season. And part of that plan involves managing their quarterback roster carefully, making tough decisions about who stays and who goes. Dorian Thompson-Robinson might be the first casualty, but that's all part of the process, trying to find the best fit for the team's long-term success. The real question is, who will emerge as the number 2 behind Hurts? Will it be Tanner McKee, who has some NFL experience, or Kyle McCord, the rookie with the high upside? Now, looking at the bigger picture, this situation also reflects the Eagles' strategic approach to roster building. They're not just chasing short-term success, they're laying the groundwork for sustained excellence. They've got a young, talented quarterback room that could be the backbone of the franchise for years to come. Jalen Hurts has been phenomenal, leading the team to the Super Bowl last season and establishing himself as one of the top quarterbacks in the league. But even with Hurts at the helm, the Eagles know that the future depends on nurturing these young talents, giving them experience, and creating a stable environment where a new quarterback can step up when needed. And let's take a moment to appreciate how this all ties into the Eagles' overall roster strategy. They've been building around Hurts, adding key pieces on offense and defense to maximize their Super Bowl window. Their draft picks, free agent signings, and trade moves all point to a team that's trying to stay competitive now and in the future. The quarterback position, of course, is central to all of this. It's the most important position on the field, and having multiple capable options can be the difference between a good season and a championship run. The Eagles are clearly aware of that, and they're making sure they're covered from every angle. Now, for the fans, this is an exciting time because it means the team is in a flexible position. They're not just relying on one guy, they're creating a competitive environment where young quarterbacks can push each other, learn, and hopefully develop into franchise players. It's a smart move, especially considering the NFL's unpredictable nature. Injuries, unexpected performances, or even a breakout star from the practice squad can change everything overnight. So the Eagles are being proactive, and that's what true contenders do. And speaking of contenders, we can't ignore the impact that this quarterback depth could have on the team's overall performance in 2024. If Hurts stays healthy, something he's proven he can do, the Eagles are still one of the most dangerous teams in the league. Their offensive line, receiving core, and defense are all top-notch, and with a reliable backup quarterback ready to step in if needed, they become even more formidable. It's that layer of security that can help them navigate tough games and late-season pushes. And if one of these young quarterbacks, like McKee or McCord, continues to develop, the Eagles could be setting themselves up for a future where they're not just a Super Bowl contender now, but for years to come. This entire situation also highlights how the NFL has evolved. Teams are now more focused than ever on roster versatility, player development, and strategic planning. The Eagles exemplify this modern approach, building a team that's not just good enough to win now but also sustainable in the long run. Their quarterback room is a perfect case study of how smart drafting and player development can pay off. They've made investments, taken calculated risks, and are now in a position where they have options, real options, that could define their future. So, as we look ahead to the upcoming season, the buzz around the Eagles' quarterback situation is only going to grow. Fans are eager to see which young guns step up, who might be the next backup hero, and how this depth will translate on the field. One thing is for sure, the Philadelphia Eagles are not just content with being good, they're aiming to stay at the top, and every move they make now is part of that bigger picture. And if history has taught us anything, it's that having a strong, well-prepared backup quarterback can be the difference between a playoff disappointment and a Super Bowl victory. Now, wrapping this all up, it's worth noting that the quarterback battle in Philadelphia is more than just roster management. It's a reflection of the team's championship mindset. They're investing in their future while maximizing their current window. And with Jalen Hurts leading the charge, surrounded by a talented and deep roster, the Eagles could very well be in prime position to make another deep playoff run. The competition behind Hurts is fierce, and that can only push everyone to be better, to improve, and to prepare for whatever challenges the season might throw at them. And as we continue to follow this story, I'll keep you updated on every twist and turn, who's rising, who's falling, and how the Eagles are shaping their roster for what promises to be an exciting 2024 season. This quarterback depth chart is not just a roster detail, it's a strategic chess move that could determine how far this team goes in the postseason. The Eagles are in a great place right now, and the future looks even brighter with this kind of thoughtful planning. And now, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this quarterback situation? Do you believe Kyle McCord can be the guy to eventually take over as the primary backup? Or do you think Tanner McKee has what it takes to step into that role? Maybe you're still hopeful that Dorian Thompson-Robinson sticks around and fights for a spot. Whatever your opinion, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters so much to us and to the Eagles community. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and all the latest Philadelphia Eagles news. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep riding this wave together because the best is yet to come for the Birds.